Hello everybody, today we are with a new guest, Kevin Kruse, and he is a serial entrepreneur and co-author of the best-selling book How to Increase Performance and Profits Through Full Engagement. And Kevin Kruse has been recognized as one of the top 100 thought leaders in trustworthy business behavior. According to you, how to develop leadership, how to become a leader, how to start?
Yeah, I think it's an important question, and what I always like to start with is, I think people sometimes have different ideas of what leadership or what being a leader even means.
Yes.
And, I think that many people I know confuse it, and they think that being a leader means you're high up in an organization. So if you are a vice president in a company,
You are a
you
leader.
that's a leader. And if you are low, that doesn't mean leader. And others, I think, make the mistake. They think that leadership and management is the same. I have 10 people that report to me. I'm the boss of 10 people. I'm a leader. I'm their leader. And it doesn't necessarily, management and leadership are separate. And what I think a simple definition for me of leadership, it's really a leader is just one who rallies support, organizes support for a common goal, a common vision. And even though that's a simple definition, there's some key pieces there. I can be a leader even if it's not my vision. So many definitions of leadership that I see or read and hear is that a leader comes up with a great vision. They create a vision. They create something. Now, what I would argue is if I am a mid-level manager in a company, maybe it's not my vision. It came from the CEO or the co-founder or the founder of the company. Here's where we're going. Here's our 5-year plan. I can rally my troops to support their vision, that vision. A sergeant in the military can rally support, can lead towards the goal set by the general.
Yes.
And similarly, I like to talk about you don't need a title to lead. You don't need a title to be a leader. So even if I have no direct reports, I'm not the manager, I'm not the boss. What I do, if you and I are coworkers, David, what I do every day and how I say things to you and act to you can help to align you to the vision or break you down and distract you from the vision. So I think everybody can be a leader. Everybody has leadership responsibilities. And then in life, of course, I think we can all be leaders in our family, leaders in our neighborhood, leaders in our churches or places of worship. So to me, that's really what leadership is about. And then the type of leadership that I hope most people practice, I like to talk about it as wholehearted leadership, wholehearted leadership. And to me, there's too many bosses out there who think they're leaders, but it's the old style command and control. I say what to do, you do it. I have secret information about the company. You only are going to know the part that's relevant to your job. One of the things I was saying is I like to teach people to be wholehearted leaders and to be open with their people. Too many don't want to show their weak spots, don't want to share all the information that they have. So I talk about really being transparent and open with your team, and really viewing it as a partnership, not that I'm up here and they're down here. I'm the boss. It's that we're one team. We have different roles on that team, and it's more of a peer-to-peer relationship, as I like to see it.
Okay, and do you, um, according to you, what we have to do to begin to develop leadership? Now, for example, for the people who are following us now, uh, what they can do to become a leader, to have more leadership.
Yeah, I think Um, I'm going to answer it first in terms of everyday leadership. I think you need to either a goal, an objective, or know what it is that from someone else. So even if you are in your family, what is our family goal or mission or big dream for the year? What is it for our church, for example? Or inside of a company, what are our department's goals and how do they align with the company goals? So it starts with knowing where you want to go or where people want you to take others. And then it's exhibiting leadership, making sure everybody on your team, in your family, in your social group knows what the goal is and what they can do to help lead. It's reminding them, it's encouraging them, it's coaching them to get better and to perform on a team. And I think that again, the key thing is you don't need a title to lead. So if you are young or just starting out, act like a leader. I like to say act as if you want to be a leader, act like a leader, and it will be noted and you will be promoted and rewarded and congratulated. People will see you as a leader, as an emerging leader, and you'll get boosted up for those efforts.
Hmm. Okay. So thank you very much. Um, my my second question, it looks like the first one, but I think it's different. How to increase your self confidence? How to be able to act? Because a lot of people who comes to me in asking me, I know what I want to do, but I have a lot of difficulties to take actions.
Yeah, I don't know I have the the best answer on that, but I can tell you my own experience. And I am actually very shy, my personality type. I'm very introverted, I'm very quiet. And when I was a kid, I mean, I couldn't, I sat in the back of the class, I never raised my hand, was, never could ask a girl out. I mean, I was just so shy and timid. It was horrible. And when I started in business, I would be so scared to call people for a sales call and to talk. My voice would go so high because I was scared. They would think a girl was on the phone. I sounded like a girl. It was terrible. I had no confidence, no confidence. What I learned, I mean, I think that the reality is the psychologists will call it step therapy, taking baby steps. So, speaking to one person about your dream, your plan, your idea, that's a good step. Talking to five friends in the bar, the cafe, is a bigger step. Uh, Going to a business meeting or a business card, club, an exchange, and talking to people about what you do, that's a bigger step. Giving a speech in front of 25 people, 50 people, bigger step. Today I give a speech to 3,000 people, no problem. But it took a long, you just have to work yourself into steps. But I think that another thing happened about this confidence. What I didn't realize, for example, when I was in my 20s, is that my youth was an asset. People are not used to young people doing big things, bold things, different things, proactive things. And what I found, and I can see it more in hindsight, but I can remember a sales call. I was just out of college. I was 22 years old. I started my first business. Did not know what I was doing. Um, but I would go on a sales call and I would get business and I can remember this one man in particular, older man saying, sure, I want to help you out. I will give you a starter project. And I'm sure there were many companies bigger than mine, more experienced than mine, that could have done what he was looking for. But he wanted to help me because he thought it was neat. Hey, a little kid starting a business, good for him. I'm going to help him out. I remember another woman who, after we were already working together, for a few months, and she just interrupted the business meeting and said, "Are you some kind of whiz kid or something?" Whiz kid said. And so I started to realize that being young was actually an advantage. People want to help young people. And, I'll say, David, as an example, I get maybe probably 3 times a day, somebody emails me or through my website or through LinkedIn, they ask to talk to me. Can we meet for a cup of coffee because I want to learn how to write a book? Can I take you to lunch so you can tell me about how to start a business? Can we talk on the phone so we can get to know each other and maybe work together? I say no at least 3 times a day to those requests. I said yes to you and this interview. Now, if you were 55 years old and already had done a bunch of businesses and things like that, maybe I would have done this talk, maybe I wouldn't. But you're a young guy. Remember when I was a young guy, I want to help. So I think that if you don't have a lot of confidence yet, I would say purposely look to take steps, bigger and bigger steps, bigger and bigger asks, asking for help, asking for information, sales. But then remember that whatever you are don't have self-confidence on. Oh, I'm too young. I'm not experienced. I'm only a one-person company. I look funny. I don't know. People want to help you. That is, to other people, that's something they want. That's going to make them want to help you. So that would be, my advice.
Yes, so to sum up what you are saying, you have to be clear on what you want, a goal, a dream, but next
Yes.
you have to determine the first baby step, a little step that you are able to do. Do it, and then you are improving your self-confidence. You are saying to yourself, yes, I can. So
That's right.
I can do a little bit higher, and
That's
then
right.
okay.
That's right.
And you say something very very interesting about the fact that people help young people, and
Yeah.
I'm sure of that, and I say that to young people that people will help you, but how to do when you are 50 years old?
Yeah. I think that um, it's an advantage to be young or to need help, to be the underdog. Big advantage. Um, but I think that the bigger thing is just knowing what, just as you said, David, knowing what you want and trying. I mean, I know so many 50-year-old people who say, I've always wanted to, whatever, start a business, write a book, travel the world, whatever, take up water skiing, and they don't. And they always have their excuses, no time, busy, I'm going to fail. What if it doesn't work is usually a big one. That's just fear of failure. So I think if you don't have self-confidence and you've already had, decades of professional experience, you just need to know what you want and to try. And it does sound very, I would say like simple or corny, but what entrepreneurs know is that there really is no such thing as failure. Too many people, if they don't have self-confidence, they're afraid to fail. Like, people will think badly about me or make fun of me, or I'm going to make a fool of myself. And I always say, you either succeed or learn. So I've had several businesses that I've started, grown, and sold. Those were successful. I've had several businesses that have failed. I've lost a lot of money and I shut them down. I learned more from the failures than the successes. Now, I would rather have more successes than learn all the time. But I think, again, if you are older and don't have the self-confidence, realize the word failure, to fail, I don't even know what that means. To me, failure means learning. Failure means education. So you either succeed or you learn. Those are really the only two options, and both are good. Both are good.
Yes, and the only way to not fail is to do nothing.
Exactly. To do nothing or to give up too fast.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a good advice, I think. So people who are sorry, I forget the verb. Who are following us, take a small action, a baby action, and do it.
That's right. That's right. Make the goal. Make the goal. What do you want? Pick one little action that would step and do it. Don't do it next week. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it. That's right.
Yes, today and before the next week.
That's right.
And I have another general question about success, because a lot of people in France, but I know it's the same in a lot of countries. And do you have do you have some steps to succeed in life? Do you have some? Do you have children? Do you have children?
I do. 3.
Yes. So, if you would like to help them to succeed in their life, um, what could say them?
Yeah. It's funny. I'll have two answers to that, because you say like my kids, and it's what I really do say to them. Um, I've been focused on. I've been very busy in my life and very achievement and success oriented and goal oriented, and wanted to make money and wealth, and that's fine. That's good. But there's been a lot of my life where I was so focused on that I didn't enjoy the day. I didn't enjoy a nice sunny day. I didn't enjoy the wonderful meal. I didn't enjoy the company of my friends or people around me. So my first piece of advice to my children is that true success is just happiness. Just happiness. So I don't want my children to think that they have to be business people, or they have to make a lot of money, or they have to be an entrepreneur. If they are an artist who has no money, or a waitress who has no money, or anything, but they are happy, I'll be happy, and I will consider them. I mean, it's sort of like what the Dalai Lama and people say. I mean, ultimately, life is just about happiness. So if you can get that, doing the simple things, good for you, and you are successful. Now, if my children say, but Dad, I want to make a lot of money. I want to, climb to the top of the ladder of a business. I want to start my own business and succeed. Then I would answer it a little differently. And when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I used to think the top things were goal setting, time management, and relationships. Your social network, I don't know how you would say it, networking, social capital, or
Yes.
relationships. Now that I'm 45 now, I still think those are the 3 keys, but I would flip them over. Relationships more important than anything else. Then it's time, managing time, leveraging time, and last is the goals. I flip them. And so to talk a little bit about that, relationships, what I've discovered is, first of all, who is an extension. It opens your world. It opens your knowledge. So I do have different ideas about my goals today based on who I know, based on relationships and things. So the goals come after my social network. When I was your age and I started my first business, I came from a lower, what we call a lower middle class family, not from money. So to me, $1 million was a lot of money. And so my goal was I want to build a business that does $1 million a year. And to me at the time, that was a big goal. That was a stretch goal. How am I going to do that? That would be great if I could do that. And I did that. After several years, I did that. And then I met a man who, in the same 5 years, when I was busy creating a $1 million a year business, he had created a $22 million business. Same 5 years. Regular guy, just like me and you talking, and he did it that big. And I thought, wow, like that's amazing. If I had known him and knew that that was possible, maybe my goal would have been higher. 5 years after I met that man, I met another man who built a $45 million a year business in that 5 years from scratch. And all of a sudden, I thought, oh, if Neil can do it, I can do it. So I think that part of it is who you know just changes your worldview about what is possible.
Hmm. But do you but maybe if you don't have goal, you can't meet this kind of people.
Perhaps. I mean, true. You can maybe ranking them is a bad idea because you do need all three. If I and here's an example. When I was 22 years old, I don't think I knew any millionaires. I didn't know any. And I knew that it would be helpful to meet some as mentors, coaches to guide me, maybe investors in business. And probably by the time I was 30, I knew a few. You know, I could probably name them. By the time I was 35 or 40, I probably knew about 10 or a dozen, multimillionaires, self-made multimillionaires. Today, age 45, I know more. I don't over 100. I have no idea how many I know. And I would say, as a young person, you should have a goal. So there's the goal to meet highly successful people who have traveled down the success path, themselves and can help you. And it's very easy. Again, if you start when you're young, it's easy because they want to help you. You could have anybody who is in their 20s, early 20s especially, could have 40 multimillionaire friends in a year. Easy. And those relationships, and I don't want it to sound so, cold or like manipulative. You want these people because, one, they're interesting. They're fun, they're interesting, they've lived interesting lives. Two, yes, financially, they might invest in your company. They might invest in your charities. They might help you financially. But most importantly, they're going to teach you things that are helpful to know and introduce you to their network, right? So all you need to do when you're young is realize that youth is an advantage, and it's the perfect time to invest your time and not worry about money. You should be building relationships more than money in your 20s. So, for example, I'm a member of an angel investing group, an investor group. So we have, I don't even know how many, 20 or 30 members, successful business people, and we start up, businesses present to us, and we decide if we want to invest in them. If a 20-something-year-old, young man came to our group and said, I don't have money to invest, and I'm not, yet a business owner. I'm not coming in here like one of you, but I want to learn, and I'll sit quietly in the meetings. I want to learn. I want to soak it in, and I will help. I'll take notes for you during the meeting. I'm really good with the internet, and your website is horrible. I will make you a better website. Your website's okay, but you're not doing social media. Let me post and set up a Facebook group for you and a Twitter channel and all of that. You have 100 companies a month that you reject. Let me, send the letters for you. Don't worry about it. I take all that work off of you. I will help you guys. You don't have to pay me anything, but can I come to the meetings? I just want to listen. We would love it. We would love it. Come sit. Absolutely. And while we're having a cup of coffee, David, what are you up to? Oh, we're doing this event. You should come to my house. We're doing an event this weekend. Oh, that's an interesting idea. It's not good for me, but maybe my friend, Dr. Steinberg would be interested. Let me introduce you. So when you're young, because you have time, it's easy to help, or whether it's a nonprofit group, an investor group, a political campaign. It's easy to volunteer your time to get in these circles. So I think, I like to say relationships are key, number one, but you're right. It's good to have a goal to meet these people, to make these things. And obviously, you're doing a very good thing. Can I interview you for my show? I will mention you in my book, and we start a relationship. And you do that over and over again, and you build that relationship over time.